So I'll talk for a bit, and then I'll describe holographic breathing and teach holographic breathing. And then we will continue on with that to work with a full body breath through the whole body, through the arms, legs, the hands, feet, the face, the cranium, the brain, the organs, the muscles, everything. So we'll do a full body breathing. And then we're going to work with cellular breathing. And then we're going to go even smaller. We're going to work with the mitochondria within the cells, which are a bit like the lungs for the cells. They convert the oxygen, well, it's oxygen, hydrogen, glucose. There's a few ways they do it. Converts that into energy to run the cells and to run the body. And we will also work with the DNA in the cells, so we will work with all of that. But the message that I was getting just before I started, I was waylaid by all sorts of things, and ended up in a bit of a hurry and didn't have much time to sit and meditate, so I just took a couple of minutes before we started. And the energies and message that was coming through was that we're going to be working with the spine, the Kundalini, and kind of the transit into the new age. This is the energy I kind of love, is this energy that rides through the spine, through the brain, through the cranium, and connects to the higher self. It will heal everything, but it will also destroy everything. It will take everything away from you. It will annihilate everything in the process of healing you. In a way, you are the problem, and as this energy goes through, it takes away those bits that you consider to be yourself and leaves you with energy. So I guess that will come up quite strongly in this webinar, is working with the Kundalini. I'm not quite sure how to talk. I think I will speak a bit about the spirituality behind holographic breathing, because there is a spiritual process to holographic breathing. It's not, but it is an exercise system. It is a breath work for breathing through the body on a physical level, through the organs, through the emotions, through the intellect. But also there's this spiritual connection where people connect to their higher self and the divine realms. And for me, we kind of need this at this time on Earth. We need some kind of divine intervention. And I think the days of the guru have gone. I think the days where we used to go to gurus and sit in front of them and get divine energy from them, I think that is over. I think we're coming into already in the age of we become our own guru. We get our own connection to the divine, and we work with that connection for ourselves rather than being dependent on that from a teacher, a healer, somebody else that you give your power to or put on a pedestal, or they are amazing people. You become that amazing person. You work with your connection to the divine energies, to the higher self. And that is one of the principles of the Kundalini. Now, I'm not talking about blow your brains out and never come back and end up in a loony bin Kundalini. They're much softer, running through the brain, running through the spine, but it keeps working through the brain and connecting to the higher self and opening more and more channels until you can resource yourself on that level. You know, we can circle the energy in ourselves, but in a way, in ourselves, it's just going round and round, and we're still in our structures. I think it takes this connection to the beyond before we can truly start transforming, because it has to be outside of what we consider to be ourselves, because otherwise we just stay ourselves and who we consider ourselves to be. And once you start building that dialogue with the divine, it starts taking your identity, your ego, whatever you want to call it, apart, until there's nothing left, and you can merge with that or just be with that. And holographic breathing offers that. It offers you a way of doing that at a speed that you want to do it for yourself. You're not going to be pushed faster than you want to go. It's not you are disempowered and somebody else is taking over. You go at the speed that you choose to go at. And that is always present in these webinars. And I found it a bit discouraging at the minute. I don't know if it's my particular energies and my particular channels, but quite often people complain that I put them to sleep. They can't stay awake through me speaking, or they can't stay awake through the meditation. But that really is just the energy that comes through when I work, and that is what's healed me. You know, I was dying of Lyme's disease, or Lyme disease, and just over 20 years ago, the holographic breathing came through. I was pretty well bedridden, and I healed myself of Lyme disease with it. And since then, I've just taught holographic breathing. So I'm going to teach that. I'm going to teach you how to do holographic breathing. I'll give a quick description of it now for the new people. And then I'll talk about the process that we're going to go through in this webinar, what we're going to work with. And then we'll go into the meditation, which is learning the holographic breathing and going on a guided meditation to work with everything I described. So in holographic breathing, the lips are relaxed and closed, so the breath is through the nose. The upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth. And it's the upper surface of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and as much as feels comfortable. So for the new people, you can start off with that. Just get used to having your tongue on the roof of the mouth while I'm talking, having the lips closed. and there's a movement that stays as it is. The lips stay closed, the tongue stays on the roof of the mouth, and within that, on the in-breath, the jaw is gently opening, and on the out-breath, the jaw is gently closing. And it's a small motion. It's about 1/4 of an inch. I wouldn't advise trying to do that at the minute for the new people. It's probably better to wait for the meditation where I'll bring it in a way that's easy, because it can be a bit forced. It can be you're doing that rather than that movement just happening and becoming part of the breath. And as soon as that's happening, as soon as that movement of the mouth and jaw integrate with the muscles of the breath through the body, it just becomes natural, and this deep, profound breathing motion starts happening through the whole body, through the brain, through the skull, through the spine, and you start getting this spiritual connection to the beyond. And that really seems like an important part of today's webinar, this connection to the other side, and not that I'm somehow channeling and bringing it to you. You know, I always channel when I work, but it's your own ability, your own facility to connect to the divine energies. We, on planet Earth, through these times, you know, just look around. We really do need some kind of divine intervention. I don't think we can just do it on our own. There are too many, all the different factions against each other, all the governments and the multinational companies and all of these things having an effect, and everything going on. There's so many different factions, and people think, you know, it does seem like we need to connect to something that's overviewing the whole thing, to find our way through these times. It seems like that to me, and that's what I'm feeling as I'm talking about it, is just this bright light coming in that is available to everyone. So I think that is just going to be available to people if you so wish in the meditation, or even now. You can open to that now. So I'll be teaching the holographic breathing. Then, and that opens up this breathing motion and energies through the whole body. It starts the brain breathing. And then we're going to make it a bit more physical. There's also a breathing motion that you can do with the hands and feet. And I wonder if I've got a foot somewhere. I didn't have time to get everything together. I know it is somewhere. It's easier if I put it somewhere, but I don't know that I'm going to find it. No, there it is. There's the foot. Okay, so there's your foot, somewhat not yours, somebody's foot. Well, actually it's plastic. So same as the diaphragm, that's breathing out, the diaphragm is domed. Breathing motion of the foot, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, diaphragm flattens, breathing out, the diaphragm domes. Breathing in, breathing out. The same as with the hands, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And that will align with this breathing motion through the whole body, but it will make it more physical. It will bring in the musculature through the body. And we will start by just flapping the foot. So the foot isn't actually doing this, it's just breathing in, breathing out, breathing in. And that is being pulled and relaxed from the front of the leg, and then we will connect the back as well. So this is pulling up, the back is pulling up from the heel, and then the foot will stay level and just get breathing in. Yeah, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing, and then as soon as that happens, you get this deep motion. You really get the diaphragms doing a deep breathing motion. And the feet more working up through the whole body, through the abdomen. It will work up through the whole spine and brain in a very physical way. From the hands and arms, it more works in to the ribs and diaphragm and up. It will work through the whole body, but they sit on top of each other, and the jaw is doing the same thing, but for the face and cranium, and it's orchestrating the cranial motion through the face, cranium, spine, brain, everything. And those three together set up a more physical motion, so you can feel this motion. And for the feet and for the hands to do that, and for our normal breath, the muscles in the arms, the muscles in the legs are tightening to flatten the hands and feet. Muscles in the arms and legs are relaxing to let them come. And that is the same as the breath through the whole body. The muscles are tightening to lift up the ribs, and they rise and join into the neck and join to the cranium. And that lifts the whole rib cage, and as it does, it's creating more space in the diaphragm. The muscles are tightening to pull it down. So we feel an expansion on the in-breath because we are more aware of the lungs inside of the ribs rather than the muscles. The physical motion of the muscles is edited out of our experience. We don't feel the tightening of the muscles. We just have this experience of opening. But within the body, in the musculature, there's a tightening. And in the lungs, everything expands. But everywhere else, because we're going to work on a cellular level, everywhere else stays the same volume. So for instance, oops, it's too big, I can't get hold of it. Here's a balloon. The abdomen. For the abdomen to expand, the two diaphragms are coming together. The diaphragm under the ribs, the diaphragm in the pelvic floor, breathing in. There's a physical pulling of the muscles of the diaphragms are tightening back through the whole spine, through the quadratus muscles, through the psoas muscles. There's this tightening through the muscles, and it's pulling these two diaphragms together. And that is what's expanding the diaphragm. Not the diaphragm, the abdomen. Then on the out-breath, those two diaphragms are moving apart, and it's all expanding. Now we just feel, oh, it's expanding. It's just going in all directions. But no, what is creating that expansion is a contraction. Diaphragm above, pulling to the diaphragm below, and back, through the back, around the spine, all of these muscles tightening, and we feel the expansion. We don't feel the tightening. But in holographic breathing, it is possible, and to experience cellular breathing, you've got to be able to feel the contraction as well as the expansion. And that, soon as you're doing this movement of the hands and feet, you'll feel it pull strongly into the diaphragm, because it really helps you get that contraction that causes the expansion. So in a way, all of the muscles of the arms and legs and through and around the whole spine, up through the neck, through the face and the cranium, in a soft way, all of those muscles are tightening to create the opening of the lungs. But what this does is create a breathing motion through the whole body, through the face, through the cranium, through the brain. And it's the same motion that is palpated in craniosacral therapy and cranial osteopathy. You can give yourself a craniosacral therapy session, or you are, in a way, giving yourself a craniosacral therapy session just by doing holographic breathing, because holographic breathing opens physically that rhythm and motion through your whole body. So in a way, the arms and legs, what I'm working towards is how this, to give you a good way of being able to feel this in the spine. The arms and legs, they're tightening on the in-breath, and the muscles are all longitudinally, so it's in a way putting a shortening feeling through the arms and legs. Now obviously there's the bones there, so it's not going to shorten so much, but it feels like this slightly shortening of the arms and legs on the in-breath, and then this lengthening, so it's shortening and widening, lengthening and narrowing, everything through the body. And the same as in craniosacral therapy, the body shortens on the in-breath and widens. The body lengthens and narrows on the out-breath. And the same with a balloon. If something has got the same volume, like a muscle, like the brain, like the cranium, like the arms and legs, they keep the same volume. For this to expand one way, it has to contract another. Breathing in, breathing out. And that's how all of the cells breathe. And we now start feeling it on a cellular level, which you can do in holographic breathing. You can go in at any level, and you can, or it's not one big muscle is doing that, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, but also every single cell in that muscle, breathing in, breathing out. And all, you know, the cells all do that, and that creates the whole muscle doing that. And as soon as you're feeling that in the arms and legs, gives you the ability to feel it in the spine, the whole spine shortening and widening, the whole spine lengthening and narrowing on the out-breath. Now this may seem contrary to what a lot of people talk, but try on a new hat. And as soon as you're feeling this cellular breathing, then you become available to feel the same in the brain, all of the brain cells breathing, moving. And then as soon as you feel that in the brain, the muscles and the bones, this is connected to the arms and legs, and the musculature through the body connect to the brain, connects to the organs, to the face, to the tongue, to the lungs, to the heart, through the whole vagal nerve system. You can feel the organs breathing, you can feel the cells in all of the organs breathing. So we're going to get this experience of a cellular breath. We're also going to work through the energies quite a lot. I didn't realize there was so much in this webinar. I never do until I start trying to explain it, and then oh my God, we're working with a shed load of stuff here. This is not going to be as easy as I thought. And it may knock you out. You may think, oh my God, there's so much information. Don't try and take it in. Just let the words go through you. Use it as a meditation. It may knock your mind out. You may pass in and out of consciousness. You may go a bit blurred. That is okay. Me speaking about it is part of the process. It's enabling the energies for when we go into the meditation. Me verbally describing it gets you ready. You're already experiencing it in one level or another. So if you feel like you're passing out, or you feel like I'm wittering on and let's do the meditation, use what I am saying as the meditation. Don't try and understand it. Don't try and remember it. Just let it go through you as an experience. Then you won't fall asleep. And a lot of the passing out, a lot of the going unconscious is when the energies start traveling through the brain and people have to change mode, because you can no longer be your normal self. You can't be your normal identity. When the energy goes through the brain, you move to a different level of consciousness. And if you're not aware of that transition, then you just pass out. So a lot of the passing in and out of consciousness is just the energy starting to work through the head, through the brain, and making this connection to the higher self. So don't get pissed off that I'm talking so much. Use it as a meditation. You don't have to understand it. You don't have to remember it. Will be a guided meditation. I'll be talking about it all in the meditation. There's the doing of it, which is one thing, but there's an energy transmission. And there's your energy transmission, which is another level, which is not on an intellectual level. There's a lot to be with here. This isn't just a normal breathe and physical thing. I'm not saying all the breathing is just a physical thing, but there's quite a lot to these webinars on many different levels, and the passing in and out of consciousness is part of it. And allow it. Don't fight it. It's all right to go to sleep and wake up and go to sleep and wake up. Part of the process. And we will be working with the Kundalini in the spine by connecting it to the arms and legs, and a holographic unfolding of holographic breathing, where the lower arms are going to relate to the lower spine and the lower abdomen. Up to the elbows is more going to be the higher abdomen, the diaphragm. Above the elbows and knees is going to relate more to the lungs and heart. Coming into the shoulders is going to be more the neck. Coming into the shoulder joints, also the top of the shoulder blades, the top of the sacrum. This relates to the brain and the connection to the higher self and the higher energies. So we're going to move through these different energies in the spine and this connection to the higher self. And there is this connection to the higher self, but there's a more profound, at the top of all of those, there's a connection to the higher self and brain, but there's a more profound and strong connection where they're all working, where the base energies are working, where the emotional energies are working, where the diaphragm, all of the energies working together. When they're working in unison, this opens the crown chakra and get this divine connection to the other side. And that's what we will be working with. We will also be working with the rectum, which, there's the sacrum, which houses the Kundalini, more for the spine and the musculature. The rectum is more the organ of the Kundalini, and it nestles into the sacrum. Sacrum here in the back of your pelvis there, and the rectum just nestles in, and they both release the Kundalini. And the same as the organs, the same as the cells, there's a shortening and widening of the rectum on the in-breath. Breathing in, coming down into the pelvic floor. Pelvic floor's kind of coming up, rectum's kind of, yet breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. That activates the rectum, that activates the Kundalini in that whole area, and this can ride up through your spine and connect into the higher self. How much of all of that we get through, I don't know. I wasn't expecting it to be so much, but we will go some way or all of that, and my guess is that I will just run another webinar, and either we will do that all again or we will finish it off, whatever we don't get through this time. And before we start on all of that, these are free. Don't think because they're free they're not going to be potent. These are potent, these are free. There's a huge amount of material here. If you go to my website, the back page on my website, or last page, got I think 30 or 40 of these webinars, every single one different, deep, strong energy work there. You can go to that, you can play those. Each has got guided meditation and different tutorials. There's those free webinars. Then all of the other Sundays are the advanced webinars, where we're more working with the inner energies, the different organs. And if you enjoy this work, I'm going to advise you, come along to the advanced webinars. They're not expensive. You do have to pay, but it's a really good idea to give something back. You can't just keep taking free webinars all the time. It's good to give something back of yourself. They are not expensive at all, and you can really get into the depth of what we're working with, you can move forwards, and they unfold in a very particular and powerful way. There's a group of people there who've been doing it a long time. It's like a family. Everybody can join in. It's not intimidating. It's not out of anybody's depth. Everybody can do it at their own level. You join in with those and you engage with those and practice with those. I can almost guarantee they will profoundly change your life. Profoundly. So that is there. I can see quite a few of the regulars nodding their heads, because a lot of people weren't expecting it to have the depth that it does have. So those are there. So as I said, the lips are relaxed and closed in holographic breathing. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth. The upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth, and it's as much as feels comfortable. It can be half an inch on the roof mouth, it can be an inch, the whole tongue can be on the roof mouth, but it must feel comfortable. On the in-breath, the jaw is gently opening. On the out-breath, the jaw is gently closing, with the lips closed. As the jaw opens, doesn't mean the lips open, the lips stay closed, the jaw opens a little bit on the in-breath, closes on the out-breath, small motion, about half a finger width. Now I'm going to demonstrate. Now you may see the energies, but what you will notice is that my lips aren't opening. So I'll just demonstrate that for a few breaths. So you can see it is a very subtle meditative. We're not doing a cathartic meditation here. It's very meditative. It's very sensitive. And it's quite difficult to come back because it's instantaneous. As soon as I start doing that, a deep sense of relaxation moves through me. I move into a transcendental space. The energies in the spine opens, this connection to the spiritual energies open. Even though I describe it as a movement of the jaw, it is not the jaw that's doing the movement. The diaphragm is pulling down, that is pulling the jaw down. Diaphragm is rising, that is allowing the jaw to rise back up, and it's integrated into the whole movement of the breath, the whole movement of the breath. The mouth just stays relaxed, the whole movement. The breath is creating that, and as soon as that starts going, everything starts breathing, and this breathing motion through the cranium, through the brain, through the cells starts happening naturally. This is an initiation. This isn't a technique. This isn't a doing. We start off as a technique to teach it, but once it starts going, it's an opening, it's a remembering. We've breathed like this somewhere before, be it in the womb or on a different planet or in a different advanced race. We have breathed like this before. It's a remembering, and once it is going, there's no effort. It's just connected to the breath. Why it has never been taught before, I don't know. Well, I do know. I spoke to the channels about it when it first came through. Why me? I'm nearly dead. I'm on my deathbed. And why hasn't it taught? And they said, well, it's an evolutionary breath work. It's this time in the human evolution for this breath work to come through. So you can take that on whatever level you wish. Obviously, I'm giving my opinion on it, but you obviously have your own. There's no speed, you're just doing it at your own speed. There's no depth, you're doing it at your own depth. It's not connective breath work. For all the breath workers, it's not connective breath work. There's a space, natural space between the breaths. If you're new, to start off with, as you're learning this, it will probably take 5 or 10 minutes just to get the holographic breathing going. Through that time, it's good to be seated rather than lying down. If you're lying down through that time, there's a good chance you'll go to sleep and actually miss how to do it. There's a science to this, and if you miss a particular part, then you won't be doing holographic breathing, and it's been a bit of a waste of time. So if you're new, for the first part, just be sitting up if possible, and when we move on from that and start moving into the hands and feet, I will encourage you to lie down, so you'll know when that bit comes. But I would advise, if you're new to this, start off sitting down with your spine upright, so at least you'll be more awake. And we start mainly working from the aspect of the jaw, which gives a more physical space, and then at a particular point we're going to move it to the breath through the nose, and then at that stage everything relaxes and it normally just integrates with the breath. All right, well, we're going to start. Okay, closing your eyes. If you know holographic breathing, dropping into the holographic breathing. If you don't, just breathing naturally. And sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth. And allowing the earth to say hello back. Sending a smile, sending some energy to the earth, and allowing the earth to say hello back. Notice what that feels like through your energy and through your body. Allow yourself to communicate with the earth. And then sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies. The beneficial energies, any spiritual teachers that you may want to work with, divine energies, higher energies, divine realms, as long as it's beneficial. So sending a smile, sending some energy to the higher self and the beneficial energies, and allowing the higher self and the beneficial energies to say hello back, allowing yourself to receive from the higher self and the beneficial energies, and notice what that feels like through your body and through your energy. And asking the earth, the higher self, and the beneficial energies to be with you through the whole webinar, as your guide, as your resource, as your connection to the earth and the divine, as your inner teachers. And breathe. Okay, we're just going to start moving the jaw, so having the lips closed and relaxed. Having the tongue on the roof of the mouth. The tip of the tongue is close to or touching the front teeth. The upper surface of the tongue is on the roof of the mouth. Maybe half an inch, maybe a whole inch. Maybe the whole tongue is on the roof mouth, but it must feel comfortable. It must be easy and comfortable. Breath is through the nose. And then just start moving the jaw up and down in a small way and getting the experience that you can move the jaw and keep the lips closed. Just up and down, a bit like chewing. Just to get the experience, you can move the jaw and keep the lips closed and keep the tongue on the roof of the mouth. Just very small up-down motion of the jaw. And then slowing that down, having a much slower motion, much more relaxed motion. And we're going to start off from the aspect of the jaw, and as the jaw is slowly opening, allow the breath to come in through the nose. And as the jaw closes, allow the breath to come out through the nose. So we're going to align the breath with the movement of the jaw. So the jaw is slowly opening, the breath is coming in through the nose. As the jaw is slowly closing, the breath is leaving through the nose. So the lips stay closed all of the time. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. As the jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in through the nose. As the jaw relaxes closed, the breath comes out through the nose. Notice how the mouth starts to feel like a little bellows that is orchestrating the breath. The jaw relaxes open, the breath is coming in. As the jaw relaxes closed, the breath is coming out through the nose. Relax the back of the neck. Relax the back of the head. Relax the whole body. The jaw relaxes open, the breath comes in. The jaw relaxes closed, the breath leaves. As the jaw is opening, the breath is coming in through the nose. As the jaw is closing, the breath is coming out, and the jaw just floats together. The teeth just gently touch. There's no pressure, or they stay separate. The teeth are separating, the breath comes in, the teeth are coming back together, they float back together, and they barely touch, or they can stay just slightly separate. You may feel yourself changing levels of consciousness. Now we're going to change the gestalt. We're going to bring the emphasis to the breath. As the breath comes in through the nose, the jaw relaxes open. As the breath comes out through the nose, the jaw relaxes closed. Just breathing through the nose, and the jaw falls in line. As you breathe in, the jaw gently opening. As you breathe out, the jaw gently closing. The lips stay closed all of the time. The tongue stays on the roof of the mouth all of the time. Relax the back of your neck. Relax the back of the head. Notice how everything gets a lot softer. You may feel energies traveling through your brain, through your spine, through your body. Breathing in, the jaw relaxes open. Breathing out, the jaw relaxes closed. The chest is opening. On the in-breath, the jaw follows along. The chest is closing. On the out-breath, the jaw follows along. Your abdomen opens on the in-breath, the jaw opens on the in-breath. The abdomen closes on the out-breath, the jaw closes on the out-breath. The jaw just becomes part of your breathing, and you drop into this alternate state of consciousness. You become much more relaxed. Notice in a very subtle way your whole face has started to breathe. Your whole cranium started to breathe. Your brain, your neck, your spine, it's all started to breathe. You've moved into a different modality of breathing. The breath is orchestrating or fallen in line or the same thing as the cranial rhythm. And you feel these subtle energies and deep relaxation moving through your body. Notice it feels like every cell is opening on the in-breath and every cell is closing on the out-breath. Notice waves of energy moving through your head and through your brain. Okay, we're going to move into the motion of the hands and feet, and you can do this lying down, but you do need to be able to stretch out your arms and legs. Very difficult to do this with the arms and legs bent. We'll start off by flapping the feet. The movement of the jaw will just become more and more natural and part of everything. As you breathe in, the feet are flapping up. Breathing out, the feet are flapping down. This will pull up through the front of the legs. You'll actually connect to the jaw. The feet and the jaw are pulling towards each other on the in-breath. Feet and jaw dropping away from each other on the out-breath. The feet flap up on the in-breath, the feet flap down on the out-breath. Now also connecting to the heels, so the muscles at the front of the legs are tightening to pull the foot up, but also the muscles at the back of the legs pull up the heels, so the foot stays flat, just flattens on the in-breath and relaxes on the out-breath. And feel this deep breathing motion, much deeper, slower breath moving through your body. You may feel a deep motion of your diaphragm pulling down towards the feet as you breathe in, relaxing up and away from the feet as you breathe out. You can do the same motion with the hands opening and flattening on the in-breath, and this tightens through the arms. Front and back of the arms tighten, the hands flatten. Breathing out, everything relaxes, and the hands and feet slightly cup. It gives you a full body breath, very connected to the muscles and bones. Notice how your whole breath slows down, it becomes much more physical. You get a deep, long breathing motion of the diaphragm. Let that rise up through your whole spine, through your neck, through your face, through your cranium, through your brain. Notice how it breathes your head, breathes your cranium, breathes your skull, breathes your brain. Notice the tightening, how everything is tightening to cause this in-breath. You have to allow the chest to expand, you have to allow the abdomen, but there's a tightening through your back and everything opens. There's a relaxation and everything closes. You may feel the lower legs kind of round the ankles and wrists. Notice how this relates to your lower spine. You breathe together. The arms and legs relate to the spine. Breathing out. In the upper part of the lower legs and lower arms up to the elbows and knees. It is a bit higher and relates up into the diaphragm. The elbows and knees relate to the diaphragm. Notice how they're tightening to create this deeper motion of your diaphragm. The diaphragm, we can't feel our diaphragms. We can feel the ribs, we can feel the abdomen, but we don't sense the tightening of the diaphragm. But you can feel it's taking a much deeper, longer breath. And come up into the thighs, the back of the legs, the upper arms. Notice how you move above the diaphragm, you move up into the thoracic spine, you move up into the lungs and the heart. Good to be, the front of the legs and arms will relate to the front of the chest. The front of the back of the upper legs and upper arms will relate to the back, to the spine, to the movement of the spine. It's good to sink back into the deeper, darker movement of your spine. The back of the arms and legs relating to the back of the chest and the spine behind the chest. You move into the upper legs, around the top of the legs, around the top of the shoulders. Notice how this brings you to the top of the chest, the neck, the collarbones, the top of the shoulder blades. Brings you higher in the spine, brings you higher in the arms and legs. It actually has a lot to do with the kidneys and adrenals and the bladder, the urethra, the vagina and penis. It's called the blue energy circuit. Now moving right into the shoulder joint, right into the hip joints, to the upper cervical vertebrae in the neck. And you feel this relating to your brain and these brighter, higher energies. It's also the TMJs where the jaw is connecting to the underside of the cranium, relating to the top of the head. And feel this connection to the brain. Feel this connection to the higher self. And you feel the whole arms and legs, the whole hands and feet, the whole spine and skull breathing together. All of the energies moving up and down between each other. It opens the crown chakra, in connection to the higher self and the beyond. Letting it all work together, letting it connect through the top of the head into the divine energies. This is quite often where people pass out as the energy moves through the brain and into the higher self. And then becoming aware the abdomen, the lower arms, the lower legs. It's more to do with the physical breath. Feeling all the muscles of the arms and legs, and within the muscles of the arms and legs, as all of these muscles are tightening, every cell, the muscles and bones in every cell are tightening, getting this shortening and widening of the cells, and lengthening and narrowing of the cells. And get this shortening and widening of the arms as you feel the cellular motion in the arms and legs, and a lengthening and narrowing of the arms and legs on the out-breath. And the same is happening through the spine as you feel all the cells through the bones of the spine, through all the muscles of the spine, shortening and widening on the in-breath, lengthening and narrowing. It happens through the neck, through the cranium, and through the brain. And all of the cells of the body, through the brain, through the organs, through the lungs, through the abdomen, all of the cells are shortening and widening, lengthening and narrowing. And get this cellular breathing through your whole body. And then within every cell, you've got the mitochondria, which are like oblong cells. They're kind of 2 or 3 times as long as they're wide. These also shorten and widen on the in-breath. Lengthen and narrow on the out-breath. They're breathing. And as they breathe, the oxygen is turning to energy. They're working. Through your whole body, your mitochondria is breathing. So the abdomen, the lower arms and legs gives it the physical breathing motion. And if you come up to the diaphragm, there's this membrane through the whole mitochondria. It goes back and forth. This is the diaphragm for the mitochondria. So it's the elbows, the knees, the diaphragm. This helps that membrane in the mitochondria breathe, and that is where the conversion of oxygen to energy is happening. Then if you come up into the upper arms and legs and the chest, this is the energetic breathing of the mitochondria, that oxygen conversion. The abdomen is more the breathing motion, the lungs are the conversion of oxygen. We receive the oxygen in the lungs, gets changed back to carbon dioxide and water in the mitochondria. Some of the oxygen gets changed to carbon dioxide, some of the oxygen gets changed to H2O. So the oxygen changes into carbon dioxide and water as it converts the energies. And the lungs are to do with that conversion. The lungs, the upper arms and legs. So you can breathe with your mitochondria. You can heal your mitochondria. It's really good to do this through your brain. Heal the cells, heal the mitochondria in your brain. A lot of diseases, COVID, Lyme disease, all these diseases, they attack the mitochondria, and breathing with the mitochondria heals it, brings it back to life. The mitochondria also has DNA, so the nucleus at the center of the cell has DNA, the mitochondria has DNA, and coming up into the neck, the shoulder joints, the hip joints, the brain, you get this bright white light of the DNA in the mitochondria, the brain for the mitochondria, the brain for the cell. Bright white energy. And this white light coming down into your head and white light coming down into every cell in your body, healing your mitochondria. Letting that connect to the divine energies. Letting your energies rise up into the divine energies from your pelvic floor, from your rectum, from your sacrum. Notice if you become aware of your rectum, there's this instant release of energy from the rectum up through your body and through your brain and up into the higher self. The rectum is the organ of the Kundalini. Feel the rectum shortening and widening on the in-breath. Rectum narrowing and lengthening on the out-breath. This energy releasing up through your body, through your head. The rectum sits into the sacrum. You get one energy rising from the sacrum. One energy rising from the rectum. The sphincter muscle, the rectum, as this breathes, it sends an energy through your spine, through your brain. And this starts communicating with the higher self. There's one level of energy in Kundalini where we work with it ourselves, but to go to any depth, you have to allow, this energy isn't for us, this energy is for the higher self and the beyond. Rises up through the top of your head, rises up in a column, up into the higher self. This feeds the higher self. And then, for the deeper, more profound Kundalini, the higher self starts orchestrating the Kundalini. It becomes much softer, much more whole, much more manageable as the higher self descends and starts entering into us. We're no longer an individual. Letting that energy heal through the whole of you. Let your neck relax. Notice this gives you a different perspective. You're no longer just you. You're a viewer. Maybe let your chin drop a bit so the energy will go through your neck. You're no longer you and the higher self. You are the same being. A higher self descends into you, and you are the higher self. You are God. You are God with a body. You are the body of God. You are God manifest on earth. You are the divine imprint on earth. Your body is evolved out of divine light, out of divine consciousness. You are a manifestation of light. You are life. You are a miracle. Allowing your neck to relax, allowing your whole body to relax, letting yourself be divine light, divine consciousness. Let that energy rise through you, be through you, and automatically your energies are communicating into the higher self. It's not even a communication anymore. You are the higher self. You are God. You are the Creator. This thought of there is you and there is God is a delusion. You are that you are searching for. You are the divine in a body. And your body is created out of the divine. Your body is the physical blueprint of the divine. Your body is the blueprint of the earth and the divine coming together in love, in light, and making a miracle, making life. Every millisecond is a divine blessing of physicality, parading as God or being God or manifest out of God. Every cell, every strand of DNA, every bit of mitochondria, every muscle, every part of us, every feeling. We are the higher self. We are beyond. We are earth. We are physical. We are the whole rainbow. We are whole on every dimension, in every perspective. We are being. Gently breathing. We're going to come back in about a minute. And sending a thank you to the earth. Sending a thank you to the higher self and beneficial energies. And thanking yourself. Letting the energies go off for love and healing to the earth. Letting the energies go off for love and healing to the higher self and beneficial energies. And allowing yourself to be loved and healed. letting your energies go off to all sentient beings for love and healing. And you are a sentient being, allowing yourself to be loved and healed. And when you feel ready, gently allowing yourself to come back. Okay, wave your hands if you enjoyed that. Great, wonderful, marvelous. I'll run another one of those, well, probably around the summer solstice. My God, we're nearly at the summer solstice. We'll do one for the summer solstice, and we'll take that a little bit further. Next week, we're in the advanced ones, we're spending a year working through all of the organs, all of the vertebrae, how they connect to the brain, their relationship to the Kundalini, this connection to the divine. We work a lot with this column of energy between the head and the divine. We kind of work with the different organs. Each organ, we work 24 organs. Each organ relates to a vertebrae. Each organ is 1/24 of our reality, and it connects into the same energies in the earth and the higher self. And we work with that Kundalini, with the divine inspiration and connection between us. We become the higher self, and how that all works together in this multiplicity type healing adventure that we are on. Because it is an adventure, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm winging it just as much as you guys. What comes through in these meditations, I haven't really worked out in advance. It just opens and I just speak it into existence. I just channel and just speak whatever comes through. But anyway, we take that into more depth on next Sunday. This is part of the deep earth energies, which are the liver, pancreas, gallbladder and duodenum, and we'll be working with all of those, but to the main part we'll be working with the gallbladder. It has a lot to do with the father, has a lot to do with the Kundalini as a strong energy. And we'll be working with the spine related to that, and everything. One of the things that is to do with, it's bringing the autonomic nervous system to consciousness. Autonomic nervous system is to do with the organs, the parts of us that just works on its own. We're bringing that to consciousness, and my feeling on that, and also what Steiner mentioned, was that the next stage of our evolution is, or our movement into the new age, is of the autonomic nervous system coming to consciousness. And we're working with that and the Kundalini, and that will go on over the whole of the next year. We spent 1 year working with it in a general way. Now we're working it into more depth. That just goes on to forever. I'm sure when we get to the end, it's like a spiral. Each time we come back to the same point, we're a bit higher, and it just keeps going and going. I don't want it to finish. Originally I kept thinking, when's this going to come to an end? It must finish at some point. I'll have to learn this. And now I don't want it to. It's just this ongoing, rolling investigation into our interior and the universe. I've been running webinars for over 6 years now, nearly every week. We haven't repeated anything yet. We've just been new material every week, and I think that will carry on just into wherever. And it's good to get it while I'm still alive. At some point I'm not going to be here anymore. It's not expensive. I make my advanced webinars very inexpensive. It's not out of anybody's reach. And to be honest, it's good to pay me. It's good to give something back. There's a different energy. There's a different energy in the advanced webinars to the free webinars. It's not like the content in the free webinars is less or small or anything like that. There's an energy when people are generous enough to give something back, and my work is something is given back for it. It creates a dialogue. So this might sound like salesmanship, but it's actually true. It's actually true. When you give something back, you learn it in a deeper way. It becomes more valued. It's not just this freebie to throw away. When you give something towards something, it becomes more meaningful, more valued. You feel like you deserve it more. And it's balanced. So that is there every Sunday. I'll put some more about that webinar in the newsletter. You know, do feel free to join those, become part of the family, and do come back to these free webinars. Next one will be the Sunday before the summer solstice. All right, it is truly a privilege. It's always a privilege and an honor to work with you. It always comes through in a way that I just don't expect. And so thank you all. All right, we're going to end now. See you next time.